Hi everybody, thank you for coming. I really appreciate your attendance. I want to welcome you here and I hope you will be enlightened by some of the subjects that I'm going to be talking about. My name is Joseph Solari. I've been working at PrimeTime for over 12 years, and along that time I've been training so many people, and as a matter of fact I'm still training a lot of those people. There are people that I've been training for 12 years. I don't know how they can put up with me, but they still do. Now let's talk a little bit about aging and fitness. The years go by and we're getting older and older. The body starts getting older. I can tell you with authority because I just turned 60 years old. And I have a 60 years old body, but I'm still 20 in my head. And I'm sure most of you are the same way. So you start, okay, I'm 60, but I'm 20. So I start pushing the weights that I was doing when I was 20, 30 years old. And the muscle, because I've been training for a long time, I can probably do the weights, and I do it. But then all of a sudden, my shoulders start hurting. I have pain. And I'm like, well, remember the old saying, no pain, no gain? Let's keep on touching ahead, and I keep on working out. And then, it starts really hurting really bad, and you say, work to the pain. Well, those phrases are totally misunderstood, because when they say work to the pain, no gain, they don't mean physical pain. They don't mean, forget about the shoulder, keep on doing, or your lower back, don't worry about it, do a squat. What they mean is work to the pain, meaning to work to the pain of being consistent. It's a pain to be consistent, to come to the gym. Work to the pain of eating properly. You have to eat properly. You have to work out. You have to do all those things that are hard to do. That's the pain on exercising. So remember that when you feel pain, that's the way of your body telling you that there is something amiss. So the golden rule is always listen to your body. Let's go to technique, because you can have all the right settings, everything is perfect, but your technique is awful. Technique. The technique is very important. Exercise has two parts. The positive part, and that's when you breathe, when you exhale. And the negative part, that's when you breathe in. Now, the breathing is quite important. Most people don't know why breathing is important, and let me tell you why. When you are exercising, there is a tremendous pressure being built in the diaphragm. The heart is pumping blood, sending oxygen to the different muscles. And it's like a balloon. It's like air being put in. If you hold your breath, that pressure starts building up and your heart rate starts going higher and higher. If you breathe wrong, it's even worse. It's like putting air to an already inflated balloon, and your heart rate can go up to 300, 400. If you have a weak vein or a vessel in your head, in your brain, it can burst, and we got a stroke. So here you came to the gym to get fit and healthy, and you ended up with a stroke. So you have to always exhale on exertion. Normally, the first movement is the exertion. That's the explosion of power. You go 1, 2, and exhale, because that breathing is going to supply an exit to the pressure in the diaphragm. That's one of the most important reasons. But there is another reason which is very important, especially for the ladies. When you exhale, you are exhaling carbon dioxide, and that's how the body burns fat. The body burns fat two ways, by exhaling carbon dioxide and by sweating. So the more you breathe out, the more fat you burn. So going back to the technique, because breathing is an essential part of technique. The exercise has two parts. The positive part, and that's the one where you exhale, and it's always count 2. 1, 2. Exhale, 1, 2. And then pause and release it slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you inhale. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So don't forget that. Let's talk about the body posture. Now, the safety rules of exercising, most people don't apply those rules and they end up getting hurt or having injuries. When you exercise, remember that you have to keep your neck aligned with your back because your neck is part of your back. A lot of people sit on the machine and they tuck their chins and they start like bulls, they're going forward like that. You always keep your neck aligned with your back because that is part of your back. Another thing is never ever lack any joints. Lacking the joints is really bad because the joints start wearing. One move won't do it, 10 moves won't do it, but 1,000 times you're gonna end up with elbows injuries or knees injuries, okay? Now, a lot of people come to the gym for the first time. They haven't exercised. They come and they look around and they see Fred working out, really hard, and they say, oh, that's very good. I want to do that exercise. But Fred can lift 100 pounds, and you just got there, you try to move the weight you can. So what I recommend people is always use very light weights at the beginning. Why? You want to get familiar with the technique. You want to start factoring in all those different safety rules like breathing, exhale on exertion, 1, 2, release, 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to keep your neck aligned with your back. You want to make sure that you don't lack any joints. At the beginning, you might be able to keep your neck aligned, but you're not breathing properly. Then you remember and you start breathing properly, but then you don't, but you start lacking your joints. So it takes practice. All you have to do is just be focused and think about it, okay? Okay, I'm going to give you some tips to counter the effect of aging. For example, a lot of people are runners. They love to run. 45 years old, you keep on running. 50 years old, you are a runner. That is really bad because if you keep on running past 45 years old, you are not going to run for too much longer. The body is not fit to sustain running for too long. It's too much strain on the hips, on the knees. If you run 5 times a week for 1 hour, let's say that you are 50 years old. You run 5 times a week for 1 hour, your real age would be 54. But on the other hand, if you run 5 times or 4 times a week for half an hour, your real age would be 46 years old. And the reason being is because of the wear and the tear. It's like having a new car. If you get a brand new car, you can floor it and you can drive it every day and the car is holding its own, no problem. But you get a 30 years old car and you start flooring that car every day for a week, if the muffler is gonna go, the transmission is gonna go, and the car is gonna start making noises, and that's the same with your body. So what I recommend people is, even if you are a runner, do the elliptical. The elliptical is very good because the movement is oscillating. It's oscillating, so the strength on the hips and the knees are a lot less. Now, if you are a runner and you have a few pounds extra, I see people that they have 10, 20 pounds and they are running. Well, that is really bad because for each extra 10 pounds that you carry, the strength on the joints is 7 times. So if you are 10 pounds overweight, and I see people with 20 and 30 extra pounds, so do the math. So 10 pounds will be like running with a sack, 70-pound sack. So those joints are going to be giving up pretty soon. Now, if you got 20, that will be 140, and 30, just do the math. So the most important thing is, first, lose some weight. Second, start running on the elliptical machine because the oscillating move is good for you. If you lose the weight and you build your legs, remember when you build your legs, the muscles are the shock absorbers. It protects the knee. So you can probably run, but you have to be wise about running. Go to the track, the AstroTurf, go to the soccer field, the grass, go to the beach, and then you can run if you are so, addicted to running. Let's talk a little bit about metabolism. Most people don't know that when you do run, when you do cardio, whatever form, elliptical, bicycle, or treadmill, when you do the elliptical, you burn fat. But you only burn fat during the time that you are on that machine. If you run for half an hour, your body is going to burn fat for half an hour. The moment you stop doing the cardio, the body stops burning fat. Well, that's pretty good. You burn 300 calories, that's pretty good, but that's about it. Now, what people don't know is when you do weight training, resistance training, you burn fat during the half an hour or an hour that you've been doing the weight training, and then you stop, but your body continues burning fat. At the end of the day, you do the math, and you're going to see that you burn 2,000 calories. Whereas if you do cardio, you burn 300 or 400 calories, and that's about it. So the best combination is to do cardio, because that exercise the most important muscle, which is the heart. And do the weight training, because that will allow you to burn fat for 24 hours, non-stop. Let's talk about your body. The body is like an automobile. It needs fuel to be able to perform. When you wake up in the morning, you have to walk, you have to breathe, you have to blink. So the body needs the calories. And so you have to have breakfast, you have to have food in order to fill the tank so you can perform. Okay? Now, the body has two fuels. One are carbohydrates. The carbohydrates are the light calories, the sugar, the pasta, the bread. And we have a storage of about half an hour, 25 minutes to half an hour maximum in the body. And what's happening is when you don't train, when you don't do any exercising, the body is trained to use those stores, the carbohydrate stores. So we go into a vicious circle. You have the store and you breathe, you talk, and then the store starts diminishing. The sugar starts diminishing, your sugar level starts going down, and that's when the body sends you a signal. You feel this pang of hunger. You need to eat something. Most of the time something sweet, a cake, a donut, or something like that. So you eat it, you refuel the store, and then you keep on going. Half an hour later, boom, pang of hunger. Hey, there's another chocolate donut here. Boom. I'm talking about you, Lil. And so anyway, the body gets used to using those calories, but in the meantime, keeps on storing the fat. And you know where do we store the fat? Right over here, right here. So it's a vicious circle, and we get bigger and bigger, through the years. And that is genetics. We have the genes of the prehistorical man, the Pithecanthropus erectus, the Cro-Magnon man. Back then, food was scarce. So when they made a killing, they ate and they saved the fat for the lean time, and they used the carbs. Okay, so we have our metabolism, which is based on carb burning. Now, we want to change that. We want to get our metabolism to be based on fat burning. Now, when does the body burn fat? Does anybody know? When does the body burn fat? Very simple, when it's under exertion. When you are in the cardio machine, or you are doing weights, what's happening is you get on the cardio machine and start doing the cardio, and the body start burning carbs for 5 minutes, and then the body is going to realize that those calories are light, they are being depleted too fast, so it switch to fat burning. Good, fat burning, so you are burning fat, great. So you keep on burning fat, you finish your cardio, and your metabolism is, burning fat. But then you go home and don't come back to the gym until the following week. So the body goes back to burning carbs. So what we want to do is we want to make our body more effective at burning fat. And what's happening is if you come to the gym and you start coming to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, and you do your cardio and you do your weight training, your body is going to start burning fat for 24 hours because weight training burns fat for 24 hours. So the body starts getting used to burning fat. So there is a switch. It takes sometimes 8 to 10 weeks, but the body starts changing and then it becomes a metabolism based on fat burning. So what's happening is the stores start getting smaller because you are using this fat that we've been accumulated. Now, if you couple that with proper eating, you start eating a little less, especially at nighttime, because that's the worst time. In the morning, when you first wake up in the morning, your metabolism is very active. You can eat a cow and then you will digest it, you burn it. But about 5, 6 p.m., the metabolism starts slowing down. And what's happening, if we come from work, come home, revenge. The table is served. Big meal, the biggest meal. You eat, and what do? Sit in front of the TV to watch your show. So everything you are eating, you are keeping it. So my recommendation to everybody is you have to eat a good breakfast, a decent lunch, and a very small meal at night. Now, a lot of people don't eat breakfast, and that's really bad because you wake up in the morning and, well, I don't eat breakfast. A lot of people don't eat breakfast, but the body needs the fuel to perform. So what does the body do? The body takes a little long from the storage area and then use it to perform. But then lunchtime, you are starving. You haven't had anything to eat at breakfast, so you normally eat more than you should. And what's happening is the first thing that the body does is take what it lends you to put it back, and then the body doesn't know when the next meal is going to come, so let's put some more just in case. So you start getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So always eat. And I always tell the people when I'm interviewing them, to be trained, I tell them, you have to eat like the old saying. You have to eat breakfast like a queen or a king. You have to have lunch like a prince or like a princess. And you have to eat dinner like a beggar. That's an old Italian saying, and it's the best thing. Here in America, we do the opposite. We get up in the morning, time to go to work, a little coffee and a little donut or something, and just boom, off to work. Lunchtime, you have a meager sandwich, but then you come home and then revenge. The table is laden with good food. And that's why obesity is one of the biggest problems that we have in America. Now, I tell people, you don't have to forfeit your dinner. What I want you to do is shift around. Eat 50% of that dinner at night, and the other 50% transfer it to breakfast. Eat it at breakfast, eat it at lunch. I don't care because you're going to be burning that. But at night time has a small meal. Let's talk about machines. Most people, when they come to the gym and they haven't had any prior experience about exercising, they come to the gym and they look around and they look at the machines, they look at the weight training, the free weights, and they don't know what to do. And they see someone doing something, oh, that exercise is so cool. I want to do that exercise. But that is wrong. You should never look another person and repeat what they're doing, because most of the chances is that that person is doing it wrong, and you're going to copy the wrong exercise. You should always get the help of a trainer. Though it doesn't hurt to ask. I am very happy. I love to tell people when they ask me, what should I do? Is this okay? I love to enlighten them, because then they're going to be doing the right things, okay? So let's talk about machines. What is the difference between machines and free weights? Why don't we go to the free weights room and start pumping some iron? Well, when you do machines, and I recommend for beginners always to do machines because machines have a set range of motion. You go from point A to point B. There is no deviation from it. Now, if you have the right settings, the machine is set up properly, you are going to isolate the proper muscle. If you are doing a chest machine and you sit in the proper setting, you're going to exercise the chest and you're going to feel the chest. You're going to see, oh, this is working, this is really good. So your body instinctively learned how it feels to do something right. So eventually, if you want to do weight training, then you go and do some weight training and you do chest, and then you do it, and it's going to be different. Because when you do free weights, you have to deal with balance and coordination. So if you're doing something wrong, you are going to say, hey, this is not feeling like it used to feel when I did the chest machine. So you have to say, okay, I'm doing something wrong. And like I say, I recommend a trainer to tell you exactly how to work. Because if you start doing the exercises wrong, eventually you're going to get hurt. And if you get hurt, and you are an older person, it's going to take you longer to get healed, or sometimes those injuries become chronic. Normally, when people start exercising, they start doing chest, back, and pushing, and everything is fine, but after a while, you have to do unilateral exercises, meaning that you're going to be using one arm and then the other, because when you use both arms, if you are right-handed, the right side of your body is going to be stronger than the left side. So the right side is going to be complementing the left side. So you're going to be, the right side is going to get stronger, and the left side is going to be strong, but less strong. So there is going to be a deficit in strength or mass. So what you want to do, once you've been exercising for a couple of months and you're getting stronger all over, it's always good to start unilateral exercises to correct any deficit in strength or mass. I'm going to be talking about balance and coordination exercises. Most people underrate them. They don't really pay attention to the core. The core is very important, especially the later years. When we are getting older, our balance starts fading, we start getting a little clumsy, but if you do these exercises, you will learn how to balance and coordinate your body properly. That will avoid a lot of falls, a lot of accidents. Most people come to the gym and they say, oh, I want to do back, I want to do chest, I want to do legs. You want to look at the mirror and feel fit and strong, and that is fine, but they forget that the most important part is the core. And a lot of people have the misconception that the core is the abdominals. I do abdominals, I do crunches, I have the most amazing core, but that is not so. The core, it is the abdominals, the obliques, lower back, and a myriad of different other muscles under the rib cage. And you have to work them separately to strengthen them, but then there is another form of workout, which is called functional workout. And functional workout is a type of program that you do exercises on the BOSU. If you guys are not familiar with the BOSU, it's the half ball, the flat on one side and round on the other. You use the stability balls, which are the Swiss ball, the big balls. You use the foam rollers. You use the disc. So you do some of the free weight exercises standing on these gadgets. And that's very important because when you are on top of the BOSU, you are using all these muscles, but they are being used simultaneously because the surface is unstable, and you going forward, you tighten your abs. You go back, you tighten your lower back. You go to the side, you tighten your obliques. So these muscles start working simultaneously. At the beginning, you don't notice. You are very clumsy, you're falling and everything. But then eventually, by doing certain things, like keeping your feet flat on the BOSU, then you start engaging your core, and the core becomes your automatic pilot. Now, that is very important, especially for the older age. When you are 70, 75, you notice that most people, they are very unstable, they shuffle, they walk with a little gait, And sometimes these people are in great shape. They look very good, but they don't walk very well because they don't have the balance and coordination. So it's very important to start doing that now. So when you get to be 70, 80 years old, 90 years old, you can walk with perfect balance and coordination because that's going to save you from falling, or if you slip, you're going to recover yourself in time, and you will avoid falling and breaking your hip or your neck or something, which at an older age can be fatal sometimes. You just don't recover from that. Let's talk a little bit about flexibility. I don't know if you guys notice that we don't have the same flexibility as we used to have when we were 20 or 30 years old. When you wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, you put one foot, the other, you have to wait a minute to get in, then you kind of make it to the bathroom. When you were 20, you jump out of bed and run to the bathroom, right? So we are getting more and more stiff. The joints start getting stiffer, your body starts getting tight, and we have to counter that. And the sooner you start doing your exercises, stretching exercises is the best. You can do yoga, which is fantastic to achieve good flexibility. But a lot of people don't have the time, or they just plainly don't like yoga. Especially if they are very stiff, they don't like yoga. You don't want to put your legs over here or hold a position. But what you can do is, when you exercise, when you do your back, for example, finish the exercise, you have a minute in between. So instead of socializing or looking at the ceiling, or stretch because that's going to help your muscle. It will help you in two ways. First of all, it will help the muscle get rid of the lactic acid, which is the one that stiffens the muscle and you cannot do another set because you are stiff. And also, it will make the muscle more elastic. So if you get the habit of doing a muscle and then stretching it, it's going to be cumulative, and you're going to get flexible and more flexible. The roller is fantastic. I love the roller because to me the roller is like an iron. It just iron all those nooks, all those balls that we have in the body. It kind of smooth it out. It's very good. It's very good for the back. It's good for the longer muscles, and they also say that it's good for cellulite. Most people either like cardio or they hate it. Myself particularly don't like cardio, but I always do it 3 or 4 times a week because I know that I need to do it. But now remember this, if you do cardio 3 times a week for half an hour, that will delay the onset of Alzheimer's and dementia for 5 years. So 3 times a week, half an hour. Now, the alternative is if you learn a foreign language, you will get the same result. So take a choice, half an hour, 3 times a week, or start learning Mandarin or Cantonese, okay? When you are doing cardio, the heart is pumping blood, irrigating the whole body, and it also irrigates the brain, especially the part where the memory is. And that incentivizes the memory, to be, better and longer lasting. So remember that, that's very important. Cardio, for everybody information, cardio is to keep your heart rate and maintain it at that rate for at least 20 minutes. Better 30 minutes. So if you do 18 minutes, you are burning calories, but you are not exercising your heart efficiently. You can do the bike, you can walk around the block, but you have to do it non-stop. A lot of people tell me, oh, I walk the dog for an hour every day. That is no cardio because the dog stops, sniff, pee, you know what I mean? That is no cardio. Cardio is sustained activity for at least 20 minutes. Now, a lot of people, they say, oh, you are too overweight to exercise. It's like telling somebody, oh, you are too skinny to eat. Yeah. You can start very simple by walking a little bit every day. You can even start some strength training, but it's always good to, if you are extremely obese, or you are obese, you have to always talk to your doctor and tell them that you're going to be doing exercises and what the doctor recommends, so you can start slow and then progress from there. Most people like to cut corners. They come to the gym and they say, okay, I have to warm up and then I have to do the weights. I'm gonna do the cardio first. So I'm gonna warm up 5 minutes and I 15 more minutes and I do my cardio and then I do the weight training. That is wrong. What the sequence should be, you have to come to the gym, you have to warm up for 5 minutes, stop, go and do your weight training, finish the weight training, and then do the cardio afterwards. And the reason being is, if you do the cardio first, by the time you finish, you're gonna be poop, you're gonna be tired. So you won't be able to do your weight training, to put 100% into the weight training. So, and also, when you do cardio first, you don't burn as many calories throughout the day as you do it after. What's happening is when you start warming up for 5 minutes, that's when your body switches from carb burning to fat burning. So you're burning fat, and then you switch to weight training, and then you start burning fat slowly but surely. And when you finish the weight training, you're burning so many calories, but then you go and do the cardio, and the cardio will spike up that amount. And then by the end of the cardio, your body is going to be burning fat at a higher ratio. So you're actually probably going to be burning 20% more fat by doing it like that. So the cardio should always be at the end. Well, I wanted to really thank you for attending this seminar. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate your attendance. Thank you, thank you. Okay, we're going to start with the core for balance and coordination, one of the things that we start losing with age. We're going to be using the BOSU, and we're going to do a simple exercise, which is squat and lateral delt raises. Here we go. Okay, guys. Okay, now we're going to do the front delt raises. Now, the front delt raises is the prong that is in front of the shoulder. The shoulder has 3 different prongs. The front delt, which is this, the lateral delt, the one that we just did, and the rear delt. This movement is going to be with a squat and going up to the shoulders. Sit more, John. Don't bend over so much. Upright body. There. Swing the arms all the way to your side, John. Flat-footed. There we go. Now we're going to do a more complicated balance exercise. You're going to be using the core muscles as well as the leg, the front of the leg, the back of the leg, and also the glutes. And we are going to do it like this. You have to place your foot right in the center, and then there is a transfer of balance from the front, leg up. As you go back, you have to bend these legs, raise the other one, then exhale up and bring the knee up. Slow, repeat the motion, exhale up. So we are working this core muscle, continue. And then we work in the front, the glutes, very good. Now, here you can see the leg bending, the leg totally straight to balance out the body, using the core muscles, as well as the front of the leg, and then the back of the leg. And the bosu has to be flat. You can sway, but you cannot shake. Look at the position here, how balanced the body is. Very well done. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to do an exercise which is also balance and also a fat burning exercise. What I mean by fat burning is we're going to be using several muscle groups. We're going to be using the legs, we're going to be using the core for balance and coordination, and the biceps. And we're going to go like this. Exhale up, slow down, breathing in, exhale 2. Okay, go ahead. Exhale up. Keep your hand to your side, Sean. To the side. There we go. 3. Very well. Now we are going to do an exercise using the stability ball or Swiss balls. We're going to be using the core, strengthening the core, but also we're going to do the chest muscles. We're going to start with the chest fly, which is like hugging. It's a hugging motion. Okay, here we go. Straight up, palm facing each other, stand for the top, slowly down, 90 degrees, exhale up. And the muscle that we exercise is the chest, but we have to tighten the core. It has to be a perfect bridge, totally straight. Exhale up, and then slowly down, maintaining this core up, as I always tell you. Exhale up, that is very good. And the feet should be, the legs should be shoulders width. And if you want to balance a little better, you want to work your core a little more, you can close your legs a little more. Feet, knees touching each other. And now you are using your core a little more efficiently because your feet are closer, so the weight are pulling you to the right and the left, and you have to use the core muscle to stabilize yourself. This is a leverage machine, meaning that it goes from point A to point B. A to point B, elbows out. You can never change the range of motion. It's going to be the same, and you are isolating the muscle perfectly. The important thing here is the setting. The handle has to be in the middle of your chest. You have to establish your foundation, your base, 90 degrees legs. You're going to lay back and keep your head all the way down back. You want to hold the handles and making sure the wrist is straight. This is a pulley machine. The pulley system is different than the machine that we showed before, the leverage machine. What you want to do here is you want to protect yourself. You have to turn, hold the handle, pull it with your body, turn, pull the other handle, and you establish your range of motion. You can do different exercises. You can go chest press, which is straight, back, exhale, inhale. You can also change the range. You can go to the top, which is the upper part of the chest, the incline chest press. And then you can do the decline, the lower part of the chest. You can do lower chest exercises. Always keeping your neck aligned with your back and breathing. You can also do flies. So you can change the range, you can change the impact of the exercise on the muscle. Okay, this is a very interesting exercise. We're going to be doing lower abdominals. We're going to be working the core to keep the balance, and at the same time, we are going to be working the hips. The hips tends to be frozen with time, and this is going to open up the hips. It's like greasing the wheels. Okay, let's start. Breathe in, exhale up, and you have to keep the lower back right on the roller. You cannot lift your tailbone. The leg has to be straight. And you do the first set, you do clockwise, which works the outer part of the hips. And when you finish the first set, you have to switch to the second set. You have to take a break in between, a little break in between, and the other set is going to be counterclock. It's going to be working the inside part of the hip. The body has to be totally balanced on the roller. Here the body is being pulled on both directions, but the core is maintaining the stability on the roller. Very good. Very well done. Get up. Okay, now stand up with it. Exhale, right above here.
I like that.
There we go.
Oh, sorry. Forgot about that.
There, slow, and here. There. 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 And look at it, straight on. There, there. There. You lay on the roller and you go slowly back and forth, bending your leg a little bit so you can move yourself back and forth. And you slow down in the part of the back where you are stretching that back. And you can use this to stretch any part of your body. You can do the legs, you can do the front of the leg, the back of the legs, and also it helps with the reduction of cellulite, which is very important. You have to keep your neck aligned with your back and then keep on moving back and forth. And slow down the area where you want to stretch. Okay, very good.